Good morning. Thank you for that introduction, Madam, and it is my pleasure to address you this morning. I want to start out by saying the people of every country have every right to expect that their system of justice is universally present in their countries, open to all, and transparent in its operation and its record keeping. It must be populated by public servants who respect the rule of law and who seek their judicial office not for their own gain, but for the good that they can do for the justice system and therefore the public. The people have the right to expect their judicial servants to be competent, to be truthful, have integrity, and be fearless in their fairness, have respect for all litigants and in their decision-making. Judges must take on all cases and be competent to oversee all cases, even the tough, unpopular cases. A judge's education and training is not complete when he or she takes the bench. Being a judge means a commitment to a lifetime of learning and training. Members of society have the expectation that their lives, their businesses, their industry, and their government are regulated by laws. The enforcement of those laws, obedience to those laws, the respect for those laws lie in the concept of a rule of law. In order for the laws to be accepted, society must have respect for lawmakers and the executive branch and in the judiciary. I'm going to cite a prime example of a failure of the judiciary in executing their oath of office and their duties. A prime example happened August of 1933 in Germany. The judges were required to swear that they will be true and obedient to the Führer of the German Reich and the people and Adolf Hitler, to observe the laws and conscientiously fulfill the duties of their office. So help them God. There was one judge in Germany, and 5 days after that decree came out, 5 days, Martin Gauger resigned because he was, quote, not able to swear the loyalty oath to Adolf Hitler. The one judge out of all of the judges in Germany who were in office at the time recused themselves from their duties and stepped away from the bench because they knew that they could not follow the rule of law if they were subservient to the ruler, who happened to be Adolf Hitler. The rest of the story is that that judge eventually found his way, unfortunately, to a concentration camp, and he was executed by the Nazis in July of 1941. That is, as I said, a very stark and very real example of judges. There is a program that has been given throughout the United States and possibly further, and it's how the judges failed, how the courts failed Germany. And it was examples like this and others that are part of this program, and it's a very stark reminder of what can happen when judges take a back seat to their oath of office. In order for the laws to be accepted, and society must have respect for both the lawmakers, the executive branch, and the judiciary, as I said. It is not unexpected that when asked what is expected of a judge, we hear attributes such as competent, nonpartisan, open-minded, wise, patient, diligent, prompt, courteous, having integrity, and courageous. We judges must ask ourselves, how many of those attributes would be used to describe us, ourselves? The public's confidence in its judiciary is bolstered when it, number one, understands the role of a judge. A judge is not an omnipotent office holder. Judges have restraints, and those restraints are found in the statutes passed by the legislature, the laws of the legislature, and the Constitution. The public's confidence is also bolstered when they observe competence and diligence, and when court proceedings are open to all, transparent, prompt, and assures that all litigants have the ability to be heard. Litigants maintain respect for the judiciary and our laws, even if they lose in court. If they do not succeed in their cases, they still have respect if they perceive that the proceedings were fair and were open, and that the judge, the decision maker, truly listened to their side of the story. Remember, people are entitled to a fair outcome, not necessarily a favorable outcome, and that's the difference. When judges have the obligation to recuse due to a conflict of interest, public confidence is bolstered. To not do so when required must be the subject of a system of discipline established for judges. This system of ethical considerations helps to maintain the public's confidence. It also assists judges when wrestling with the question of recusal by providing rules and guidelines for them to consider when trying to make the decision on whether or not they have a conflict of interest and is it such that they should recuse from the case. The rules must be concrete, universally applied to all judges, and provide consequences if there is a breach of those rules. The rules should also caution judges to avoid even the appearance of impropriety. In other words, if it looks bad, don't do it. Even if it's an innocent and technically can be justified under the rules, if it is perceived to be in violation, if it is perceived to be an impropriety, step away, recuse yourself. Because to the public, perception is reality. In closing, I must say that judges earn and maintain the respect each time they demonstrate the attributes that I mentioned earlier. People's thoughts about justice start with respect for the individual judge, extends to the entire judiciary, and is the underpinnings for respect for the rule of law. The words chiseled into the main entrance of the United States Supreme Court sums it up rather nicely. What people can and must insist of their judiciary is, quote, equal justice under the law. Thank you very much.
Merci Madame Akonor de nous avoir rappelé la vigilance permanente qui doit être la nôtre face à cette indépendance et également les règles qui s'imposent aux juges, notamment face aux conflits d'intérêts.